Hello and welcome back to All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris and I am your host. When we ended the last segment, I told you that I would have as my special guest Vernon Goins. Vernon is an interesting young man. I say young because he's much younger than I. He's a person that I've known for many years. He practices law right here in the Bay Area. Vernon, welcome to All About Community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris, for
You don't have to call me Mr. Harris. You never called me that before, so call me what you normally call me. So,
mentor, leader, Bob. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
let's chat a few minutes about your background. You have an interesting background, but let's share it with the audience. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in North Oakland, off of 40th and Webster, till about age 7, and then after that moved to Richmond, Hilltop Green, where I lived there for a number of years, and then after that went to boarding school for about 4 years.
Now, where'd you go to boarding school?
I went to boarding school in Paris, France.
In where?
Paris, France.
One of my favorite places.
One of the reasons why I was sent to boarding school, and I was sent, not, no one really asked me, was that my mother was engaged in international business transactions. So at the time, she had a fond and very deep love for the continent of Africa and sought ways and looked for opportunities to engage in commerce on behalf of American businesses that were interested in doing business.
How old were you when you went to
13 years old. So I would stay
13,
2 years junior high, 2 years high school, returned here and finished high school in San Francisco. And
did you learn any French?
I did. Yes, I learned French, fluent in French, and that enabled me to become fluent in a few other languages.
Oh, you mean you are fluent in more than one language?
Yes, Spanish as well.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm not going to test you in that, but say something in French.
Me voilà ici en train de te parler avec un très bon homme, un très grand homme qui a fait beaucoup pour la communauté, qui aide pas mal de gens, des jeunes, les avocats. Well, I just said here I am speaking to a great man who has helped many people in the community, young lawyers, things of that nature.
All right, that's very good. Matter of fact, next time I go to Paris, my wife and I will take you along to be our interpreter, but on one condition.
Yes.
You got to pay the way.
Well, I'll pay the way, and if I can carry the bags too, I don't mind doing that as well.
Now, let me back up a second. Where did you go to undergraduate school?
Georgetown University, Washington, D.C., where I studied. I was there at the School of Foreign Service, and I was on track to embark on an international relations career.
And then you got diverted to law school?
Well, prior to law school, I decided that my efforts, my services, what little talents that I had at the time would be better served for the community. So that's when I joined Teach for America, which at the time was a very young program that recruited students, graduating students from undergraduate schools and placed them in under-resourced communities.
How long were you with Teach for America?
I was with Teach for America for about 2 years, placed in Compton, where I taught 4th grade elementary bilingual.
Okay, and then you decided to go to law school.
Yes, but there was one prompt.
Okay, what was that?
So while I was a teacher, I decided to get my MBA at night. So I attended an executive program at the University of Vernon and kept taking all different types of courses, marketing courses, and and business structure, and just all of these things. And I kept each and every course that I took always made reference back to the law. Okay, there was always a case study that dealt with a legal case, which ultimately governed how certain businesses would interact and deal with one another, whether it's domestic or international. And so I decided that The best thing that I could maybe possibly do is not use the business to try to engage in the development of the community, but the law. So that's one of the things, that was one of the influencers.
And then you ended up at UC Hastings College of the Law.
Yes, and that's where I met you for the first time.
As
So
a matter of fact, you were signed to me
Yes.
through the Charles Houston Bar Association to be your mentor.
that's correct. And so the Charles Houston Bar Association is the oldest and largest group of African American attorneys and judges here in Northern California. It is an affiliate of the National Bar Association, which is the oldest and largest group of African American attorneys and judges in the entire world.
And you are a former what?
I'm a past president of the Charles Houston Bar Association. I served
So
2
you
terms.
not only became a member of the Charles Houston, you became the president. Is that right?
That is correct. And that was with and by and through a lot of hand-holding to a certain degree, a lot of mentoring, and a lot of love.
Oh, it wasn't that much. You also became the president of the California Association of Black Lawyers. Isn't that right?
Yes, but you just don't do that in a vacuum.
Of course not.
So
learn.
you learn, but
And you listen.
and you listen,
And you did a good job of that.
and
right?
you do a good job. But also, most important is you find a North Star, you find a beacon, you find someone who you want to be. You model yourself after that particular person, and that was you. So just as you have been the past president of
You just feed
many
my ego.
many organizations,
Okay, I love it.
including but not limited to the National Bar Association, that's what prompted me to get engaged in the civic side of my profession.
And you've been involved in a number of other associations, including the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. Is that right?
That is correct. So I served as the chair of the Legal Redress Committee when you were a board member. This was several years ago.
And obviously many years ago. But we're going to
Yes.
have to take a break. We have run out of time. I tell you, when I get to talking with Vernon about his background, legal career, I just get carried away. So forgive me, but don't forget that this is all about community. My name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Vernon Goins. We will be right back, so don't touch that remote. Put it down.